Hello everybody, this is EpicGamingGuru, and this time I have a lot to talk about with a new game that came out very recently, which was Baby Steps, and I have to be honest, this is one of the hardest platformers I've ever played. Everything about Baby Jex, I don't know why I said Baby Jex, Baby Steps is literally no joke. Everything on this game just is plateau difficulty on steroids. I also want to clarify that this is not a game review, which is why it's mostly in my discussion playlist, but I'm not going to deny that everything about Baby Steps was just a painful road all the way throughout. And even though I have suffered highly in this game from fall after fall after fall, I still managed to somehow beat this game and even beat one of its most difficult challenges throughout the entire game, which was the legendary mountain named Manbreaker. And Manbreaker does not pull punches. Manbreaker is one of the hardest parts of the entire game, and as a result I ended up nearly going absolutely insane just trying to get past this mountain, and I have fell I don't even know how many times at this rate. I think I've lost track after nearly 400 plus falls on Manbreaker alone. Yeah, I can safely say that Manbreaker has definitely lived up to its name. It's probably one of the only few mountains or hard obstacles I should say that would actually make the game rather difficult. In fact, I think I've already lost my mind thinking about Manbreaker with every single cliffside, every single section, and everything else that involves it. Another interesting note that I didn't even think about with Baby Steps as I was playing through it, because of the fact that this game is just so upwardly difficult that all you want to do is just focus on it compared to anything else, was the fact that this game was designed and made by the same maker of Getting Over It. Yup, Benefati made Baby Steps and Getting Over It, two of the hardest platformers ever made throughout the entire Steam library. Yeah, I have no idea who pissed off Benefati so much to a point where he decided to say, hey, you know what, I've already made one difficult game, I might as well go ahead and torture the rest of the community who loves really hard platformers by making one more incredibly difficult game. And I still have a lot more to talk about with this game, and it's not just based on the fact that Benefati made it, even though I believe the guy belongs in a goddamn straitjacket because you have to be insane to make a game this difficult. A lot of jokes aside though, this game is rather interesting in many different aspects. The player is rewarded entirely based on how much you're willing to endure and willing to explore. However, it's one of those type of games that I honestly thought was a joke at first, until I realized that it is absolutely not a joke. Even with the main premise of the story, it really leads on hard on depression and as much as other different kinds of adult-based themes that I find rather interesting, because it's very huge amounts of adult humor all packed into one game. And you're going around entire areas wearing a onesie sleep outfit. Yeah, I don't even know how to mentally process that. Yeah, I don't know how to really take this game seriously at all. It's one of those type of games where I want to take it seriously because the storyline is very heavy on depression and many other different aspects, but the thing is that when I take a look at this game a little bit more thoroughly and narrow everything down, it's one of those really strange, obscure titles of indie games that you would never thought would actually be pretty popular, but then again, it's made by Benefati, it's gonna end up getting up there. The only issue now is that there's not that many streamers or actual content creators talking about this game, which is a real damn shame, because this is one of those one-hit wonder type of games that it is actually worth the exploration regardless of how painful it is. Regardless of how painful this game honestly is, I could still say the storyline is definitely worth it. Whether or not I've been stuck in an area for hours on end trying to figure out how to get one specific item or a specific fruit or whatever reason why Nate wants to go around and collect fruits or whatever, it's really done for just comedic purposes. And I really appreciate that there are more video games out there kind of exploring the aspect of adult humor, but doing it in a very fun, symmetrical I was going to say symmetrical way, more like a semi-cynical way, but also in a way that's actually very fitting for the game's type of theme that it has, or in this case, the game's full-on style. Baby Steps finds a very good way to actually explore all of these things properly without needing to actually push it towards the player in any way, shape, or form. And nothing feels really forced in this game when it comes to the jokes, the story, or even the gameplay itself doesn't really feel forced. The only thing that do feel forced is you trying to basically bash down on your controller to try to figure out how to get past certain obstacles, because this game really does rely on your patience. And by all my lords, does it rely on your patience. This game does not allow you to forcefully go up anywhere without taking a few falls back down if you've never played it before, but if you have played similar games that have very awkward controls and very strange, janky, I would say very janky characters, I shouldn't even say controls at that point, then you might actually really enjoy Baby Steps. But overall, I think that this title is actually very fitting for what it is. It nails the difficulty right on the mark, and then on top of that, again, it's going to be one of the hardest platformers ever made. Bennett Foddy really decided to go all in on this game, and I honestly can't blame the guy. The game is great. I can't wait to review it for a future sake of a video. But either way, guys, this is going to be pretty much the end of it. This was pretty much sharing my thoughts about Baby Steps. I really think that this game can go far. I really do think that it goes pretty far and beyond as it is because of its already freaking huge difficulty. But I really like to hear what you all think about it in the comments section. Go ahead and tell me what you all say about this video and so on. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the video that much, and I'll see you all next time.